I was unskilled, and you trained me.
I was forgotten, and you reached out to me.
I was fatherless, and you nurtured me.
I was broken, and you mended me.
As Jesus says, whatever you do for the least of these, you do unto me. Support a child in His name through Compassion International at compassion.com/unto me.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Motherhood. 1 minute, you're mom of the year.
I love you, Mommy.
Then the next, not so much. From bath time to bullying, from potty training to puberty, parenting is full of challenges. But one thing is for certain, you are not alone. Welcome to Modern Mom Probs. I'm your host, author, mother, parenting expert, Tara Clark. Join me while we tackle today's modern mom problems. If there's one thing that you know about me is that I am absolutely obsessed with the brand Cozy Earth. I wear their joggers during the day, almost every single day. And then at night, I sleep in their matching pajamas. I always wear the full pants with the long sleeve. It makes me feel very fancy and it keeps me cool at night. I sleep on Cozy Earth sheets with a Cozy Earth duvet cover. Like if there was a person that was a walking billboard for Cozy Earth, it would be me. It's actually a running joke between me and my husband because it's literally the only brand, not only that I wear during the day, but I wear at night and I sleep in at night. And the reason why is not only because it feels luxurious, but because it keeps me cool at night when I sleep. Because sometimes, ladies of a certain age may happen to be prone to night sweats. But the sheets are so soft and they're so snuggly that I get a great night's sleep every night between my sheets and the duvet cover, and it wraps me up and I just feel like I'm in this absolute beautiful cocoon of just cuddliness and perfect sleep. It's so soft. It feels so luxurious. I can't even begin to tell you how much I enjoy the Cozy Earth products. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because right now, Cozy Earth is running a special deal that if you use my code MMP, you can get 40% off their best-selling sheets, pajamas, and more. Trust me, you will not regret it. I am the walking billboard for Cozy Earth. And if I could impart one thing for you, you could afford it and you're worth it. Use my code MMP for 40% off. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of Modern Mom Probs. I'm your host, and today I'm thrilled to welcome Jo Piazza back to the show. Jo has a new book out called Everyone is Lying to You. It is a TradWife murder mystery, and Jo just happened to write my favorite book of last year, The Sicilian Inheritance, which I absolutely could not put down. And it's funny because we are on our way to Sicily in a few weeks, and so I may have to reread that book on the flight there after I finish reading Everyone is Lying to You. You may know Jo as a wildly popular writer and the host of the Under the Influence podcast. Jo and I just absolutely click, and we kick back and discuss TradWives, the book, Instagram, social media, all of the things. And so without further ado, I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation. Jo Piazza, welcome to the show. You look gorgeous. You're in the mountains in your TradWife outfit and you're glowing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm all TradWife all the time through the rest of the summer. It's TradWife summer for me is what it is.
That's what it is, because last year it was hot Sicilian summer, but now it's hot TradWife summer.
Hot TradWife summer. Exactly. My neighbor up here in the mountains actually has chickens, and I plan on feeding them later, which is my TradWife activity for the day. My other neighbor has a whole menagerie of miniature animals. Like, I shit you not, like mini donkeys, mini goats. It's anything that is miniature he has. So I really think that I could frolic through a field with them and create some good content.
Oh my God. Is that Steven?
No.
Steve,
No. It's Mike. It's Mountain Mike who has the miniature menagerie. Yeah.
You have so much content that you could possibly make being up there with the chickens and the mini horses
and the
babies.
Oh my God. Yeah. So many. I mean, oh my gosh. The baby peed in the potty for the first time today.
Congratulations. That is something to celebrate though. Seriously.
Is. But like potty training the last child is so huge. I'm just like, because we haven't really been trying. We just leave a potty around and like have her be naked. And this morning she just like got up and went and she was like, okay, done.
I love it. We did the same thing with Jack. We just left the potty there and we tried to do it in the course of a weekend because you know that book where you try to
we did that. We did that in the first one. Yeah.
And so it didn't take a weekend. It took more than that. But like, yeah, it was just like, free balling it and going pee when you see
so much free ball. So much free ball. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
It was so much of that. So you are officially on your book tour now.
I am. Yeah. I mean, the book I'm doing like 21 stops for this one. And we're doing TradWife costume contests for all of them. And it's going to be BYOP. It's going to be bring your own pie. And I just think it's going to be a riot is what it's going to be, because a TradWife murder mystery about conservative influencers murdering their terrible husbands feels like what America wants and needs right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
No,
I just want
There's a lot going on.
Deliver. There's a lot happening right now. And I mean, you know this, we've been living in the world of influencing for a long time now. And I love it. And I love that women can build their own businesses and be entrepreneurs. But there's also a dark side to it, which, is how I came up with the title of the book, Everyone is Lying to You, because so much of it is smoke and mirrors. And I look at these accounts with people, running barefoot through a field with their chickens. And I'm like, no one should be barefoot around chickens. Okay. Because they you're going to be covered in shit. All right.
Yes.
Like that is the truth of being around chickens and being on a farm and yet. And so I was just like, all of these TradWife accounts, they are just lying to us through their teeth. They're making so much money off us, like having this fantasy of thinking that we would be happier on a farm somewhere, when I had to stack wood here the other day because the wood guy just dumped it in a pile in the front yard. And that shit sucked. Okay.
It sucks.
Like
it's hard work.
It's hard work. And they're not showing the work. They're not showing the labor. They just make it look so pretty and idyllic. And it's not.
Actually, when I see that stuff, and maybe it's the Jersey girl in me, I see that and I think that's my worst freaking nightmare.
Oh, same.
Like that whole life. Mm-hmm, like with the chickens and the dirtiness, like people are like, oh no, it's free. I'm like, no. Give me a mall, give me New York City, give me like, I don't know, anything else. And it's not that I don't love nature. I do. I love nature. I love the mountains. I love the shore. I love the beach and everything like that. Being on a farm and having to work hard like that and feeding the chickens and collecting the eggs and stuff like that. Maybe I'm too much of a germaphobe. Maybe it's a me problem. I see that and I'm like, literally, this is not influencing me at all. It's influencing me to want to go wash my hands.
To go wash your hands. I know. Yeah. Well, I do get sucked into it. Like I do look at it sometimes, and especially if I'm hungover, and I'm like, I would be so happy if I baked some bread. And then I try to like microwave a waffle and I'm like, I can't cook anything.
That is so funny. See, that's the thing. I don't get sucked into the domestic life like that. Like, I often think about Sarah Peterson because I subscribe to her Substack as well.
Sarah
and she's
Peterson
often
is a genius.
amazing. If you haven't read her book, Mom Influenced, like go read it. Momfluenced. I gotta say it correctly.
I think I blurbed that book. I loved that book. It was
you did.
So good.
It was great. It was a great book. It was a fantastic book.
Yeah.
But I think of her often because I subscribe to her Substack as well, including to yours. So shout out to Substack, everybody. Mainly Joe's and Sarah's. And she's often obviously talking about the influencer moms. And I think to myself, it's not even on my radar. I don't even think of these people or think of that lifestyle or want to be with chickens or want to be with that. And I don't know, maybe it's like I'm just too cosmopolitan and that's just like where my mindset is more. Yeah. But like baking, all of that seems so much work to me. I'm like, can't we just I don't know, go just hang out and do nothing instead?
I would love an influencer account actually, where it's just like how to do nothing better.
Oh my God, maybe I'll do that.
It's just like pictures of someone like not reading a book, not like not like sowing a field. It's just like sitting there, just like how to do nothing.
Yeah,
you know
what?
Start it.
I think I might. I don't know. I start watching my stories, Joe, because you're gonna watch me just doing
nothing. It's like, what is she accomplishing today? Nothing.
You know what? I'm sort of getting to that point in life, and I'll tell you why. Because my son is 12 and a half, right? So he's in school all day, and then he has clubs after school. And obviously, I work. This is my full-time job and stuff like that. But I have to say, there's a lot of time where I'm just I don't know, not doing anything. And so maybe I'll start chronicling that a little bit more.
Start chronicling your nothing. Yeah. Yeah, because that's some content that I would really subscribe to. Women doing nothing.
But I recommend that everyone should just sit and do nothing sometimes because we so often get caught up in this, I have to be busy. I have to be productive. And you know how hard it is to turn that off in your brain to get to the point where
it's
you
impossible.
Can sit?
I know.
Yeah. I know. Because then you're thinking, oh, I got to go make a sourdough. Oh, I got to go put the laundry away. Oh, I got to do these 10,000 other things. And usually that is what I'm doing. But lately, I've been trying to be better. I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety recently. And so
me too.
I'm trying, right?
Too.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Everything's a lot lately. And so I've been trying to sort of just sit more and just be still and be present. And I think that's what we need to kind of focus in on that. Women doing nothing.
Women doing nothing. We're starting a revolution right now, Tara.
I think we are. I'm going to broadcast this, everybody. It actually might be the antithesis to the TradWife movement.
Totally. Because the thing with the TradWives that gets me, and, it's one of the reasons that I wanted to write Everyone is Lying to You, was the messaging is you should drop out of the workforce. You should just submit to your husband. A woman's highest purpose is to be a wife and a mother, but they're running media companies. They're doing so much. They're producing so much content. It's more work than I do. And I write books and have a gazillion podcasts.
Yeah, you do.
So yes, I do think women doing nothing is the opposite of TradWives, and we're bringing it. We're bringing it. Yep,
bringing it here. Cheers to that. Bing.
Cheers to that.
I'm cheersing you with my Stanley. How TradWife. Boop.
That is super influency traddy. Yep.
Yeah, it is. Yep. Actually, that one was given to me by Meta, so that's even that comes full circle.
I saw when you went to Meta. How was that? Was that fun?
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was good times.
Well, it's interesting because, I shit all over Meta all the time. And yet, I also love the people that work there. I've had a lot of great conversations and thoughtful conversations with them on my podcast. And it's a great platform. I mean, I reach more readers on Instagram than I do anything else. And also it's sucking all of our attention dry. So many things are true at the same time. It is wonderful and also terrible.
I agree 1,000%. And I often say, I talk about Instagram a lot in my career and my parenting. Obviously, this is what we do for a living, right? And so
that's what we do. Yeah.
That's what we do. And I often say that Instagram has helped me become a better mom because it introduced me to more parenting strategies, parenting terms, and it really genuinely influenced my trajectory as a parent and how I was able to like break cycles and talk to my son differently than my mother talked to me and all of those kinds of things. So, and make friends with people from all over the country and all over the world. And so I'm eternally grateful for that. And yet I can acknowledge that it sucks up all of our time, all of our attention. It puts me in a bad mood sometimes. It leads to my anxiety, you know, like all of those things are true.
All of those things are true. And I mean, this is what we talk about all the time. I think you just have to create a good relationship with it. It's like, it's up to us. The companies aren't going to do anything. It is up to us to figure out how it works in our life and how it doesn't work and how it works for our kids and how it doesn't work, and to set those guardrails. Yep. That's it. That's where we're at. And, you know, I talk a lot in the book about authenticity and, you know, like, there's a right way to be authentic and a wrong way to be authentic on social media. And influencers are always kind of towing this line of like, how much do I reveal? How much do I share? Who is the real me and who is, you know, the me version on Instagram? It's not just influencers, it's all of us, right? It's like, you know, what do we share with the world when there's this little window that like lives in the palm of our hands?
Yeah, 1,000%. That's something that I'm constantly thinking about. I was on vacation actually just this past weekend, and I didn't post from Thursday until today, and today's Monday. Like, we went to Disney World. I did not post one freaking picture because you know what? That's my family. You know, like I wanted to keep that private. I took my mom for her 70th birthday to Disney World. Oh my God. It wasn't sponsored or anything like that. It was just like something I wanted to do for her and my son. And I was sort of in between them because like they're two children, and it's like I was like parenting both of them. Anyway, that's for a different podcast episode altogether. But going back to the authenticity is like I could be posting these pictures, but I chose to keep it private. I chose to keep it sort of close to the chest. And in my work, I tend to do that a lot because not everything I feel like has to be for everyone's public consumption.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Well, how did it feel? After, like,
it feels
not
great.
posting. It felt great.
It feels
right?
great. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
We had such a digital detox that like my son wasn't on devices or screens the entire time. My mom doesn't even have a smartphone, so she's fine. Every time I grab my phone, she's like, "What are you doing? What are you working on?" And I was like one thing I'd be like, "Mom, I'm like checking into our flights. Like, give me a second." But I wasn't on my phone. My son wasn't on any devices. She, like I said, is straight up 1995, so she has a flip phone, so she's never on devices. And it was wonderful and it was beautiful. And it was like all three of us. And I love being private in my work. And I think for me, it's a double-edged sword in as much as I'm a very private person. Sometimes people don't even think that I'm married because I never show my husband, right? So people are like, oh.
I never see him. I never see him on any of your stuff.
And you won't, because that's a conscious choice that we made as a family, right? And like you show Nick, and like Nick's a big part of your online story, right? But my
he's like a character, Sam, essentially. At this point.
Yeah, he's a character in the story.
Character in Jo Piazza's digital world. Yeah,
exactly. And my husband is not, and that was a conscious choice that we made like pretty early. And even now that my son is 12, like I ask him, like, is it okay if I post this or not post this? And depending on what it is, sometimes he's like, yeah, I love it. Let's do it. And he says he wants to be a content creator. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But going back to the authenticity part of it is like, that is a choice that you have to make for yourself. But I know for me, could I get more brand deals if I show my family? Could I get more money to command more money for this if I'm showing a big happy family sitting around at the table, that kind of stuff? Like, yeah, probably. But at the end of the day, probably. But at the end of the day, like that's a choice that we're making as a family. And like, that's fine. Like, this is my thing. And my husband does his thing. I'm saying like professionally. And then that's fine. Like, that's okay. You're not seeing all of us eating dinner together as a family and the whole thing, or us on vacation all together as a family. And that's a conscious choice that we make. And I'm fine with that. Actually, I'm more than fine with that. I'm thrilled with that.
Thrilled with it. And I love that for you. Well, and I got to say too, you know, I because one of the characters in Everyone is Lying to You is an influencer, and she's a wildly popular TradWife influencer. But we go through the behind the scenes of her day, and on Thursdays, she shoots all of her content for the whole week. And, you know, the kids, like, she like kind of pantomimes them getting up and getting out of bed. None of it is the reality. She's like, they wake up and I feed them and then I have them get back into bed in these matching pajamas that I also sell on my website. And we shoot their getting up and getting ready with me videos. And I've talked to a lot of influencers that like, that is what they do on a certain day. They have their media day and they shoot all of their content. And, essentially the kids are like play acting out of life. And I think that has to be exhausting.
Yeah. It is. And there's no way that that's not exhausting for the parents and for the children. And that goes back to what you were saying about the authenticity of that. You're not actually waking up with bedhead and I have curly hair, right? So my hair would be like out to here, bags under my eyes, all of that kind of stuff. Like you're not actually seeing what it would be like for us to wake up and start our day. And I think about that many times, not with my day-to-day content per se, but like when I have like a sponsored ad, right? Where they're like, okay, like shoot this particular thing. Like, that you're curating and crafting that exactly to the way that you want to, or that you need to, because that's keeping the lights on, right? That's paying the bills. And so
it's an ad. That's the thing. And for a long time, I think that we didn't really realize that a lot of people didn't realize that they're ads and that we're being sold to, right? Because we're also looking at Instagram and seeing pictures of like our cousin's dog. And so we're like, oh, this is just their life, as opposed to it's media and it's content. And
yeah. No, that's very much what it is. So why now? Like, why did you think, coming off of the heels of your absolute blockbuster book last summer, because you just freaking crushed it, and I'll just say specifically, like freaking crushed it with the Sicilian Inheritance.
Oh,
you come off of that, right? Like you have Hot Italian Girl Summer. And then you're like, now I want to tackle TradWives. Like, why now? Why did you think that like this book needed to be born?
Well, I started writing it for fun last summer. And one of the first scenes I wrote was actually inspired by Harrison Butker's commencement speech last year. Where he told a graduating class that women's highest purpose was to get married, essentially. And in my head, I was like, what if the audience revolted? What if the audience was like, no, 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 no? And I wrote this scene in my head where, a male celebrity is at a mom influencing conference called Mom Bomb. And he starts telling all the women, your highest purpose is to be a wife. And they start throwing sourdough at him. They start chucking rolls at him and mini pastries. And it kind of grew from there. And, last summer I was also being served TradWife content constantly. And I was like, this is just so ripe for like a juicy, fun murder mystery that just like really delivers on the thrills, but then like makes you think. It makes you think about like the ideas and the politics behind the TradWife content. And you and I were at Mom 2.0 together. And I got to tell you, the Mom Bomb, the like influencing conference in the book is definitely like a satire, right? But some of the stuff, like some of the like lines are definitely things I've overheard at different conferences. And I wanted to have fun with that, right? And I mean, I think now I finished the book before Donald Trump was elected again. I wanted it to come out. I wrote it in 3 months. I mean, it just flew out of me.
Amazing. It was just there. It was just like, it was just crowning there. And you just had to push it out.
It was crowning. It really was. It was just, and then I just gave a push and
there she was.
Out. There she was. There she was. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
I was unskilled, and you trained me.
I was forgotten, and you reached out to me.
I was fatherless, and you nurtured me.
I was broken, and you mended me.
As Jesus says, whatever you do for the least of these, you do unto me. Support a child in his name through Compassion International at compassion.com/unto me.
And I was like, the time is ripe to be talking about this and to be talking about like the smoke and mirrors of Instagram and social media. But also I just wanted it to be fun. I mean, if I learned anything from Sicilian Inheritance last summer, and, more than 100,000 people have read that book at this point. And they're like, it was just such an escape. And like, I want to give people an escape. I want people to have fun and like give them something to chew on. Like I want them to think afterwards, but like, I want it to be a good time. And this one is definitely a good time. I mean, it is a romp. I mean, one of the reviews was like, there may be one too many twists and turns at the end of this, but you won't mind. And I'm like, and my editor read that and she was actually like, oh, that's my fault. Because after reading it, I told you to add another twist. I'm like, yeah, you did, Maya. Yeah, you fucking did. There's a lot of turns. A lot of things are just like going to come out of left field. And I think people are going to have a good time with it. I asked that it come out as a paperback first, instead of a hardcover, because it's coming out in the summer. I want people to take this book to the beach. I want it to be cheap. I mean, hardcovers are like $30 at this point. And I'm like, and the economy sucks. And so I want people to be able to get this for like $12-15, throw it in your beach bag and like not worry about it getting all gross on the beach. Cause that's what happens when you read. You spill your spicy margarita on it every single time.
I always get sunscreen on mine.
Of course you do. Sunscreen, like mayonnaise, because I'm always eating a sandwich at the beach. For some reason, I'm always eating a hoagie at the beach. Hoagies and spicy margaritas. Because you have to stop at
Wawa and get the hoagies to go to the beach.
I get my Wawa sandwiches and take them to the beach. Exactly.
Yeah, that's how it goes. I know. I'm in Wildwood. That's what we do.
Exactly.
Well, what's actually funny? Speaking like full circle here, we're going to Sicily in about a month, and I will be reading Everyone's Lying to You on my way to Sicily.
Oh, I love it. I love the full circleness of this. And I sent you my travel guide for Sicily.
Yes, I got it. Thank you very much. I'm super excited about that. So maybe I'll be making my own homemade pasta while
everyone is lying to you.
Exactly.
Exactly. Well, I'm psyched. I'm psyched for this tour. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with it. And I'm going to try not to totally burn myself out. And I am taking out pretty much all of August off. I'm not going to do anything in August. Again, women doing nothing.
Yeah.
My August is just going to be maybe
so for that.
I know.
You're just going to be up at the mountains, just sort of like hanging out and plus or minus making sourdough.
Stephen makes a good sourdough. That's the thing. Stephen, who owns Spruceton Inn, he does all the bread baking for our neighborhood, pretty much, like the entire neighborhood. Stephen takes care of. So I will never have to make. And in fact, and he's so good too, because he's like, oh, I'm taking some bread out of the oven. Do you want to make some content? And I'm like, yeah, I do. And so then we shoot all of these sourdough videos that are made by men, that are made by a trad dad. Yeah.
He's a trad dad. And Stephen was on the podcast too. So I'm going to give a plug to that episode because he was great. We were talking about creativity and sponsoring and promoting creativity within your children. So love that one. So what would you say, Jo, to the people who are like, but you're vilifying trad wives. Like, what do you say to those folks?
It's I want them to read the book is the thing, because the book is not judgmental. It's not vilifying. It's told one of the points of view is from the point of view of a trad wife. And it shows how she got where she is, some of the mistakes she's made along the way, some of the regrets that she has. And it also shows that she's running a business. I mean, frankly, the book is very empowering to trad wives. It shows them as, the workers and the bosses that they really are. The only thing it vilifies is when people aren't showing that labor. And I do think that that's a problem. When we don't show how hard women work, then that labor is not acknowledged. And people expect women to do all of that work for free. So the book is actually weirdly pro-trad wife and anti-terrible men is what it is. vilify and murder a lot of shitty men. But we are very pro-woman in all shapes and forms. And I say this all the time too. You know, a TradWife is very different from a stay-at-home mom. A stay-at-home mom is the CEO of her family. She is working her ass off. It is one of the hardest jobs ever. My issue with TradWives is the lie, is the not showing of that labor. And, you know, of telling women, they're actually the most judgmental because they're like, your highest purpose is to be a wife, is to be a mother, and that is the right choice. Whereas, you know, in reality, I just want women to have all of the options, and telling women to depend on a man for your financial security is simply dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the interesting thing, going back to what you were saying about these women, the TradWives, the very successful influencers, many times are retiring their husbands.
Their husbands are working for them. That's the thing. Like, you know, in a lot of the cases, the husbands are actually behind the scenes, and the women are the breadwinners, but we don't see that.
I think that's the illusion. I'm glad that you do talk about that in the book, because that's something that I think on the surface that we're in the industry, so we really know how these things tend to work.
Exactly.
But for the average reader or the average consumer of this media, they don't know that. So they think that this woman is running barefoot with chickens and making sourdough and has affiliate links to matching pajamas and their aprons and that beautiful flowered dress and all of that kind of stuff, when they don't realize that their husband probably then quit his job to then help support her. And they may or may not have a nanny with the housekeeper. And if they're doing tutoring at home, you know, homeschool and all that kind of stuff, like they don't see the entire team behind these images.
No, exactly. You know, and a lot of the rhetoric around it is like intense self-reliance, right? Like, I'm doing it all. But like, you never see the fact that a lot of these people also have generational wealth, that they just like, I mean, it takes so much money to run a freaking farm. Okay. Like there's a reason that most farmers get subsidies. Because it's not easy and it's expensive. So you never know what they started with, right? And then you never see the help. You never see anyone helping them, whether that's family nearby, you know, moms, sisters, whether or not they have a nanny, whether or not they have a tutor. And the erasure of that like level of support also bothers me. Because I mean, I like when I talk to young women all the time, especially at book events, they're like, how do you do it all? And I'm like, I do it all because I pay for a lot of help. Like we have an au pair who lives in our house with us. My mom just moved within 5 blocks of my house.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And her new building has a pool. It's like magic. I mean, it really is. And so, I mean, I spend a lot of money to have a lot of support to be able to do the job that I do. And it's still hard. And again, like if I'm vilifying anyone in this book, it's the lies and the lack of honesty about how hard it can be to be a mom and to be a wife.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also want to, going back to Nick, I want to give Nick a shout out because he is so hands-on and he is a father. You know, he is a father. He is a father in every sense of the word, right? He takes care of the kids, helps you out. I think about you often with writing because many times I'm like, how does Jo have as much time to be able to write as quickly as you do? Even the Substack, you know, like you're pumping out those Substack like every couple of days. Like I'm finishing one by the time you're on the next one. And so I think like she has a lot of writing time, but that's because you have
It's
help.
my 9 to 5. It is like literally, well, and you know, the big kids are in school now. Even the baby starting in September, she's going to be at school from 9 to 3.
That's amazing.
I know. And now she's at school from 9 to 12, 5 days a week too. So, and I mean, Nick and I are now working together. He's the chief operating officer of Influential Media, which is my media company. And, you know, we're like doing all the things and cobbling it together.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And now actually with the baby going to school full time in September, you could have so much more time to do nothing.
I'm going to do so much nothing. so much
nothing. How's it
So much
going
nothing.
working with Nick though? Because I'm sure
It's weird.
and I'm thinking about like not only you, but like also with the influencers, like having that husband-wife team to manage these media companies must be pretty wild.
It is, I mean, it's all a learning curve. I think working with anyone is a learning curve. I was co-authoring books for a long time, Christine Pride, my co-author of We Are Not Like Them. And she and I had to figure out the language of working together, like what worked for us, what didn't work for us. And Nick and I have had to do the same thing. It's like, how do you want to speak to each other? How do you want to delegate duties? How do you make time for like your actual relationship when you're also working together? I mean, I look at Stephen and Casey for that too, because Casey's also an author. Her first book comes out in 9 months. It's so good. And Stephen is a children's book author and a painter, a beautiful painter, but they run the Spruce Inn together. And so like, they're also running a business together. And like, I've watched them as a model of like how to share these kinds of responsibilities, and also not easy. Like they've had so many different iterations of what that work life has looked like. And, Nick and I are just dabbling in writing retreats for the first time and creativity retreats.
Oh, that's exciting. Tell me more about that.
Well, I taught at a writing workshop, the Adriatic Writers Conference in Croatia last month, and it was awesome. I loved it. And we're going to do that again, but we're going to start by throwing one up here in the Catskills in September, and it'll be people will stay at the Spruce Inn for 3 days during the week.
Perfect.
And then we do want to do one in Sicily as well. So that's a 26 thing. And I want that one. It's not just writing, but it's like full creativity. Like, how do you get your thing into the world, no matter what that thing is? And then also, how do you sell that thing? Because I think a lot of these writing and creativity workshops don't talk about the business of it. And I'm like, oh, I want everyone to make money. And so Nick's like full blown, he's fully in charge of all the retreats, and we're working on that right now. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That's amazing. I want to go back to that. That's amazing because I want to do all the things. I want to go back to the business of things, because you are one of the single best, and I'm using this in quotes, sellers of their work that I know. And that is so similar to the influencers who, and again, many times people aren't realizing that they are selling themselves. They are selling a brand, really, at the end of the day. And so my question to you is like, how do you do it so seamlessly? And how do you think they do it so seamlessly?
Well, the thing is, I just learned a lot from the influencers. I realized that my books and my content are a product, right? And it's the same as, these influencers are selling us their egg aprons or their floppy straw hats or their matching pajamas. And I should be as committed to selling my books as anyone is to selling any kind of product. I think about how deluged my inbox is with crap every day. I'm like, Lululemon is selling me leggings every day, and 9 out of 10 times I'm not going to buy the leggings, and on the 10th time I'm going to buy the legging. And so that's why I just like don't shy away from in every newsletter. I'm like, hey guys, it's time to order my book. Okay. Like, do you want to support my writing? Please order my book. And I think also I'm very honest about it too. I'm like, I'm here to like literally to promote myself because I want to keep being a working writer, and that's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I think you do it better than anybody else I know.
I mean, I'm a complete psychopath about it. As our chief operating officer, Nick put a massive decal selling the book on the back of our car, on the back of our Subaru. It was $40 at signs.com, and it has a QR code. So if you're behind us in traffic, you're like, I do want to read a TradWife murder mystery. And you can take a picture of it and buy it on your phone right then and there. I do not suggest looking at your phone while driving, but if you're like, if you're a passenger princess, like, and so I'm like, all right, we should be selling all the time. And yeah, but that's also part of the fun of it. Like we have like a ton of, we call it propaganda for the book, and we'll be at like a beer garden, and I'm like, oh, let's like definitely put these inside the porta potties. Because you know what? How else are you going to find a book that you want to read? How else are you going to know that this is the most bananas fun thriller that you would read all summer unless you're sitting behind our Subaru on 87?
It's true. I did see the decal in your Substack because, like I said, I read it religiously. I read it like I'm reading the paper. So I saw that, but I have to say, like, I know a lot of authors. I have had a lot of authors on the show, right? And you are one of the most like forthright of like, read my stuff, because also like you stand by your work because it's so good. It's so freaking entertaining. I could not put down The Sicilian Inheritance. I hope you write a follow-up or that there's some sort of movie or some such thing, because all of your work is just, it's so freaking good. And I think that's what it is. I think you believe and stand by your work so much that you're like, I'm going to put it all on the table. I'm going to decal this crap on my car, and you're going to follow me on 87 and you're going to buy my book. You're going
to follow me. I know. I'm trying to get Stephen to do one for his color book that he was talking to you about. Because I'm like, people would definitely order the color book if they're sitting in traffic. So maybe I'll just like surprise him with it one morning. I'll just like, he'll wake up in the morning and I'll have wrapped his car in the color book.
It's really cute. The book is adorable too, and
it's so good.
Just like amazing.
Yeah. No, he's working on a fly fishing book right now, which is similar to the color book but for adults and all about fly fishing. And I have no interest in fishing whatsoever. And I was wrapped. I was reading it at the table the other night, and yeah, it's so good.
That's awesome. My husband loves fishing, not fly fishing, like more like ocean fishing, but that's really cool.
Oh, we should get you the fishing book then, because he talks about all kinds of fishing. Like he's like done a ton of like ocean fishing and like all of that too. Yeah. So
actually that'd be like perfect. That's like right up my husband's alley.
Oh, done. We're gonna get him a personalized copy. Easy.
I love that so much. If you could speak to the main character of your book, right? What would you say to her?
You know, I would tell her to trust herself a little bit more. You know, she's, despite projecting this like kind of, well, there's two main characters. We have Bex, Barefoot Mama, the influencer, who, you know, despite the fact that she's running a multi-million-dollar business, like just doesn't trust her gut enough, I think. And by the end of the book, she does. And, you know, so I'm just like, I think by speaking to her, I'm like, oh, these are the things that I wrote for her, right? Like I want her to trust herself and I want her to believe in herself. And then the same for my other character, Lizzie, who is a journalist, you know, who's been watching journalism dry up, you know, that has nothing to do with my actual life. And, you know, she needs to like really take a leap and pivot her career and trust herself that she can do that and be really brave. And so, you know, I want both of these women to trust that they will succeed, that like if they take a leap of faith, that, you know, it's going to work out for them. And I think we can all benefit from that knowledge. I mean, when I started in journalism, I think I've told you this before, I thought I would work at one place my whole life. Like I thought I'd be at one newspaper or one magazine. And like, I've had 90 different jobs in the past 20 years. And I'm constantly pivoting and constantly reinventing myself and, you know, launching influential media. We just launched it at the beginning of the year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I mean, it was really like making a bet on myself. You know, I'd be like, oh, I write books and I make podcasts. And I'm like, no, you're running a media brand. And like, so we were finally just like, oh yeah, like I should take ownership of that and like ownership of being an entrepreneur and building a company. And that's been really exciting. And so, yeah, I think I would just, you know, want my characters to have faith that they can do those things too.
That's so freaking cool. You're giving me confidence. Like you're motivating me, Jo.
Yay. But like, listen, This is my TED Talk. This is my second TED Talk after my TED Talk about doing nothing.
That's it. Those are our two takeaways. If there's any takeaways on this, it's women doing nothing and bet on yourself.
And also everything. So it's like two extremes. It's like, oh, so you're going to do everything and bet on yourself. You could do it. And then also you're going to do a lot of nothing.
You know, life is complicated. There's a lot of juxtaposition.
Said, two things can be true, much like I can love Instagram and hate Instagram, and that is fine.
Absolutely. Which leads me to my next question. I ask all of my guests this, and I'm curious what you're going to say. What do you think is the biggest modern mom problem right now?
Oh, it's such a good question. Such a good question. The biggest modern mom problem, I truly believe it's letting go of our own like guilt and shame around mothering. I've been trying to pull back a lot. I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I don't get on the floor and play with them, am I a terrible mom? And I'm like, no, like again, like I think that over-parenting has become a really big problem, and it leads to insecure adults who like can't do the thing. Charlie's 8, my oldest, and Stephen Casey's daughter is also 8. And we let them walk to the pond that's slightly further than the pond they usually go to. And, they were out of shouting distance of the house. We like secretly watched them go there. And then we drove by a couple times, but that autonomy made them so happy. And they just caught salamanders for 2 hours, and just getting to have that freedom. And I think it's really scary for us. We're like, oh, I must do all of these things for them all the time. And I'm like, what if we didn't? Like, what if we let that go and let go of our shame and guilt and about that we have to be a perfect parent? I think that's the biggest modern mom problem.
I agree 1,000%. 9 times out of 10, people are like social media comparison, which yes, is a major one. I'm going to put that right on the top tier. But I do think that over-parenting is really high too.
Yeah. Like this morning, everyone was tired and a little hungover, and they've been watching movies this morning, and that's fine. It's summer.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
How much TV did I watch as a kid? And I'm fine.
Boatloads. I actually just did a reel about that the other day on Instagram because my parents were divorced. I grew up with my mom, and she worked full time. And so I watched a boatload of television. And guess what? I'm totally fine. And I'm creative, and I loved work. I wanted to work in media. And guess what? I worked in media. So it wasn't really that bad. And it's totally fine. You know what?
Totally fine. Exactly.
A lot to be said about giving kids the autonomy to go, whether it's playing outside or not just being on top of them and overscheduling them, whether it's throughout the summer or throughout the school year. So I am a big fan of that, my friend.
Big fan. Yeah.
Jo, tell everyone where we could buy the book, where we could find you online, where we could listen to your pods. I mean, you have so much stuff going on. Are you going to have a podcast series to support the book like you did last summer?
Yeah. I mean, Under the Influence, which is my main podcast, it really is mostly about, influencing. Yeah. And so I think of that one as one, although I have been thinking about what kind of arc could I be doing specifically about TradWives, even though I talk about them a lot. But you can listen to the podcast at Under the Influence. And Everyone Is Lying to You is available literally wherever books are sold. And it's funny because I say that all the time, but it's not always true. Sicilian Inheritance actually wasn't in Target or Walmart or airport bookstores because they take a very small number of hardcovers. And that was part of the reason why we did the paperback. And it's going to be in Targets. It's going to be in Walmart. It's going to be in airports. Everyone Is Lied to You actually is everywhere. And I'm really excited about that.
I'm super excited about it. I want it to go right to the top of the best-selling list because
we want it to go right to the top of the bestseller list. That is our goal. We want people ordering it right now because it is so much fun. And then also has, a good message about taking down the patriarchy, which everyone could use right now.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to today's episode of Modern Mom Probs. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive in today's problem with me, your host, Tara Clark. Join me next time when I'll be interviewing another great guest and tackling another modern mom problem. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review and a rating. As always, you could head over to Modern Mom Probs on Instagram and give me a follow, or check out my book, Modern Mom Probs, A Survival Guide for 21st Century Mothers, available online wherever books are sold. Well, that's it for today. See you next time, folks.